Hello and welcome to Mann's Model Moments. Today I'm going to give you a bit of a retrospective and somewhat introspective look at 2023 from my personal experience and also a view from the channel and what's happened in the wider world of modelling over the past 12 months. So I started off 2023 trying to expand the channel following some feedback from subscribers and to look at the history beyond modelling. I thought I'd give a broad overview to start with of World War II, with an examination of which of the major protagonists of World War II were mainly responsible for the defeat of the Nazis. Now I was pretty happy with the video that I made, but it didn't do particularly well, and I don't know whether that was because the channel wasn't really mature enough for that sort of additional content, but if you've not seen it, then I'd be really interested if you do check it out. I'll link it here, and to know your thoughts a year on, and whether it's worth me looking at creating some videos alongside the main ones on the sort of history of the subjects that I model. Anyway, without failure, at least from my point of view, I covered Airfix release announcements for 2023 next. This was predictably successful, as people always want to see the releases from major manufacturers broken down with a little bit of analysis on top. I followed that up by staying with Airfix and taking a look at the 12 Days of Christmas bundle that they offered. And that was my largest investment at that time in a single product, with the express purpose of reviewing it on the channel. And I think my conclusions on this bundle are equally applicable to other standard bundles offered by Airfix, so if you're considering any of them, I'd recommend checking that video out. The third video of January was also on Airfix, and was making an assessment of the Airfix Club. Once again, I've not seen anything to change the opinion and the conclusion that I came to on that one, so if you're thinking about joining the Airfix Club, don't. At least think really hard about it, because it's not offering great value unless you fulfill certain narrow requirements. And in that video I go into detail about why it's a dubious buy if you're in the UK, and absolutely not worth it if you're outside of that. At the end of January, I also joined a group of fellow YouTube modelers on Discord. Moss6510 Models, Model Minutes, LPJ Models, John Alex Scale Models, Sully Scale Models, Miss Modeler, Fenris, and many more. Apologies if I missed you, there's only so many that I can remember to mention at one time. Now this has been one of the consistent highlights of my days since then, and making modelling a social enterprise has been fantastic. I really can't thank everyone on the group enough for their support and friendship. I started February with part 4 of the 1/24th scale Spitfire build, but it was soon followed up with Italieri's 2023 kit release announcements. There were some very nice and unexpected releases here, some of which, like the F-35C, we're still waiting for. At this point in the year, I was still looking for employment, and I really wanted to grow the channel as quick as possible to at least get some income to offset the rapidly diminishing savings I was burning through. I also reshot the channel intro video, something that I'll also be redoing next year to reflect the changes in growth in the channel as well. March opened with Revell's release schedule, and it was quite a mixed bag, with lots of re-releases of kits old and new, other manufacturers' reboxings, and a smattering of new tools. Again, some of those, like the 1/144 scale U-boat, have slipped into 2024, but there have at least been some interesting and decent kits here, showing that Revell can still give us nice mouldings if they put their mind to it. Following this were 2 videos on the torrent of new releases from Zhongshan Yatai, also known as Hobby Boss, Trumpeter, and I Love Kit. I think about half of the kits shown here actually made it through to physical availability here in the West, but that's still more than most of the mainstream manufacturers added together. I think it's going to be interesting to see what else comes out, particularly as I think that they are more geared to the Chinese year than the Western one, so they still have time to push out a slew of kits before the remainder count is officially delayed into 2024. I still find it incredible that such a large number of new tools are making it out from them, especially given the production quality. Even if some people will bemoan accuracy, I don't think this is much worse than we've experienced from most of the manufacturers here in the West at some point in the recent past. Now throughout this time I was still working on the Spitfire, but as a relief from this I did the first of my now fairly infamous, I think, 1 hour challenges, attempting to build and paint the Airfix FW190 starter set in just 60 minutes. I was close with this kit, but I revisited it with an AFV in the Airfix Sherman Firefly starter set at the end of the month. These were pretty fun and provided a bit of variety to keep me afloat through the last stages of building the Spitfire, and I completed that and the final video in between the two challenges, bringing the longest series of videos on the largest scale model that I finished off to date to a close. I do go through all of the steps in construction to highlight any potential pitfalls that might catch you unawares, though to be honest there are only a few of them and it's a stunning kit overall. To kick April off, Moss and I started the Beyond the Box podcast, which has been a great journey despite the latest episodes becoming mired in a lack of time to edit and publish. We're hoping that when episode 9 comes out that should change, as from episode 10 onwards we're moving to a video format, which is ironically easy to edit and can be published on YouTube and our regular audio output so people can enjoy it both ways. Christmas special was on video on the new Beyond the Box channel, so check that out if you've not already. Now, just before becoming fully self-employed and starting a new consulting contract, I published one of my most controversial videos of the year. That on the appalling Revell 132nd Corsair I'd snagged in the Hobbycraft 50% off sale. It frankly still amazes me how many people are prepared to defend the practice of taking a 50-year-old or older tooling, putting it in a new box and selling it at current day prices alongside other newer kits. Most people do seem to agree that transparency is the least we should expect today, as Airfix do with their Vintage Classics range, but some still seem to be stuck in a reverie of how good the old days were, which, I'm sorry, but it's a stupid and factually incorrect point to make. Anyway, I return to reinforce my point, and by giving a direct comparison with another Revell 132nd kit I bought at the same time, from the same retailer in the same 50% off sale, but tooled less than a decade ago. That was my most successful video of the year, and I still get fairly regular comments on it, and I still think it's as relevant now as it was back in April. Between those two videos, I did an unboxing of Hobby Boss's 135 scale Macarva to demonstrate why Chinese manufacturers are such common names to us all these days, because I did then, and still do now, want my content to be fact-led. And I want to demonstrate where my opinions have come from. I am an evidence-based scientist by training at heart after all. I joined my first Airfix and Chill in April as well, something that was to become a staple after my prior Monday D&D game was cancelled. It's been great to have the weekly get-together with like-minded people and chat about all kinds of model-related topics in a very light-hearted way. I finished off April with my first attempt at the Starter Set Challenge, building a starter set with little more than is presented in the box, modelling knife and water being the two exceptions. I chose to do the Mary Rose starter set from Airfix, and that turned out to be my second most successful video of the year. I was also really surprised at how good the kit is, and how enjoyable it is, and I think anyone would enjoy it. It would make an ideal mojo build if you're bogged down with larger projects too. In May, I was able to finally put together my first look at a project I'd been planning to do for a while, and look at all the available kits of a given subject in a particular scale, and see which was best. As so many F-35 kits were being released, and it's such a ubiquitous plane today, it seemed like an ideal starting point, and with Airfix's release I'd only be missing the upcoming Tamiya F-35B and the Italianary F-35C, which were both slated for 2023. Unfortunately, I messed up the audio on the first upload, meaning I now have two almost identical versions on this. The second one, linked here, is the one to take a look at if you're thinking about an F-35 in 1/72 scale and want all the detail. I released an update when the Tamiya kit was released, but more on that later. Following this video, I did a full build of the Airfix F-35B starter set, but I was also a bit saturated with F-35s after that, so other builds will wait until 2024. I then published the first video that I'd had a company approach me about their product for, the JM Bricklayer RC Tiger. I didn't expect to get a lot of views from the video, but it was a nice change for me personally, and it was nice to have something that I could then potentially give away to channel subscribers. I actually held my first live giveaway event in May as well, which was the first live stream I'd done. It takes a bit of getting used to, let me tell you. I wrapped up May with another best of videos, but this time covering hobby tool sets. If you've not seen that video, then here's a spoiler for you. They're pretty much all terrible. Now, June was a really busy month for me. Apart from attending the European Society of Human Genetics conference in Glasgow, I also managed to put out 7 videos and sign a lease on what would later become Mann's Model Moment shop. How on earth I managed it, I'm still not sure. The first video was coverage of the Salisbury Model Show, the second being a review of the kits I managed to pick up there. I then went to Glasgow, and on my return I did the review of the cheap airbrush I picked up on Amazon after my hard-won Steamback incident. The next 2 videos tied into the shop premises, as it was in a real state when I took it on, and I like watching transformation videos myself, so it seemed like a good opportunity to document my journey with what was, at that time, going to be my work office and part-time model shop. I finished up June with a couple more Airfix videos, one taking a look at their version of the Blood Red Skies game, which was heavily discounted in their outlet shop, and the other an unboxing review of the newly released Hawker Hunter FGA 9. One of these 2 Airfix products is really good, and the other doesn't really have a good reason for existing. I'll let you draw your own conclusions as to which, or you could watch the videos, of course. Halfway through the year, and my birthday came and went, and of course I was kept busy in my spare time with getting the shop up to spec. I posted a couple of update videos on this during July, but the one I'd been working on in the background was my roundup of Beaufort model kits, which was really inspired by ICM reaching out to me to review some of their new releases, including their magnificent 1/48 scale Beaufort in Commonwealth colours. The other thing that had been in the background for a while was the press day for Airfix's mid-year surprise release of the 1/48 scale Sea King. This was a real highlight of the year, both for me and for the channel, and getting to meet the Airfix team and take a glimpse behind the curtain was a real privilege. Although I really didn't have much interest in the Sea King from a modelling perspective before the event, Airfix's passion and enthusiasm was infectious, and I did both an unboxing video on the kit and a couple of live builds before the end of the month. I did another giveaway draw before closing the month with a final Airfix and chill with Moss in the crowd, and I was able to tick off a lifetime dream of seeing the ME 262 fly at the Royal International Air Tattoo with my son and his girlfriend. As the war in Ukraine ground on, August started and ended with ICM. Firstly, with a bit of a personal tribute to the Ukrainian forces, with ICM's older Ghost of Kiev MiG-29 kit, which I'd requested from them, and ending with their brand new, and very nice, RAF bomber crew. I also released a video on my impressions on Airfix from the Sea King press day, and some people wrongly assumed it was just me saying that Airfix was the best company in the world. Apparently asking a question is beyond the scope of understanding for some. But for those people, I will have another video coming out soon which will look at how Airfix can look to improve in 2024 and beyond, because since July it's done some fairly silly things. Tamiya had not been idle during the year, of course, and I managed to update my F-35 roundup with the release of the 1/72 scale F-35A. Despite some commenters thinking that this would be a shoe-in for Tamiya, I judged them by the same standards as I did with the other kits, and if you've not seen the outcome, I'd encourage you to see exactly how it fared. Of course, I had a last update video on the shop before opening, and with some live sessions on the Sea King, I also put together the complete build video for that, combining both live and normally shot footage for the first time in one of my build videos. September started with something I'd personally been looking forward to since it was announced, the MC202 Fulgore in 1/32 scale from Taglione. This is a super kit that is really let down by its very high price point. A natural comparison is between this and the Airfix 1/24 scale Spitfire, and the Mark 9 is going to win that fight every time. Next up was me putting my money where my mouth was, so to speak, as I said that the F-35B starter set from Airfix was easy enough that I could complete it in 1 hour using just what was in the box. Now, I enjoy these crazy challenges, and they do break up my normal building rhythm, so if you've any suggestions for the ones I could do in 2024, please let me know what you'd like to see in the comments below. Of course, during all this time I was working away on the shop in the background, and I opened the shop shortly after the beginning of September. Though I was busy for the first couple of weeks, meaning that my unboxing video of the 1/35th scale ferret from Airfix went live first. A week later I put everything together for the shop opening video, and it was time to let the world know I had opened. This was also when I introduced the first of my model challenges, this being the F-35 challenge. Check out the video to learn more if you don't know about that. December was a bit busy for regular videos, so I built the Airfix Hawker Hunter on a live stream as an ongoing comparison of an out-of-the-box build and an all-in build approach. That second build video, of course, will be coming in 2024, I promise. This build series continued into October, as the shop was taking a lot of my free time as my real contracting job came to a rather unexpected end, meaning I changed to full-time opening to try to make the shop profitable as quickly as possible. My second show of the year was probably my most local, that being the Yeovil Model Show, which I covered in late October, followed a few days later by the rather unfortunate flooding caused by Storm Kieran. This caused the shop to be closed for about 10 days, whilst I took the floor up, dehumidified everything and cleaned up, but to be honest I was very lucky in that no stock was damaged, and it gave me an opportunity to reimagine certain aspects of the shop as well. With disaster recovery kind of in mind, I started November with a guide to rescuing your airbrush. I also wanted to make up lost time in my video schedule, so I followed this with a review of the MPC Space 1999 Hawk Fighter a couple of days later. I proceeded to build this kit on a couple of live streams afterwards, and let's just say that initial impressions don't always follow through during a build. A week after unboxing the Hawk, I announced the second Mann's Model Modes challenge, the Vintage Wings challenge. This is for any aircraft from the dawn of powered flight to the end of World War I. Again, check it out if you'd like to know how to earn one of these patches for yourself. That of course was announced before Armistice Weekend, which also heralds a major event of the modelling calendar, IPMS Scale Model World 2023, this year being the 60th anniversary of the show and held in the traditional Telford International Exhibition Centre. I did try to live stream from the show, but sadly StreamYard and the local signal and Wi-Fi were just not up to the task. During that show I picked up a couple of kits to try out building a Bandai Gundam model, something that has been requested on quite a few of my videos. Now I did build one of these on a live stream, only to receive complaints that the imaginary Japanese space robot from Bandai that I built wasn't the right sort of imaginary Japanese space robot, despite the positive things that I said about the kit. You can imagine my internal response to those comments. 10 days later, I put up my summary of the show, which, rather than an exhaustive account, attempted to give both a flavour of the event and a view of all the competition entries, which is something that is both controversial and is often poorly represented in videos of the event. Whilst I have certain views on competitions in model shows, I think looking at what is entered at this event shows the breadth and the depth of our hobby, and the great talent that is involved in producing it. Moving into December, things started ramping up at the shop, so live streams were the way for me to address keeping up content on the channel, something that the algorithm that we're all slaves to as content creators considers important. Now, I'd had this crazy idea about making a model of something that AI had created, so I put up several community posts to narrow down exactly what that should be, and you guys decided that a British World War II flying boat was the thing, and so the short skipper was born, something I'll be coming back to before the end of the year. Now at this point I've built up quite a backlog of video footage that I need to get on the channel from the preceding months. The first of these to go up was my unboxing of the ICM Mulch Midget Sub, which is a cracking little kit, and I think that for me ICM is one of the best smaller manufacturers out there at the moment. They're consistently putting out fabulous quality kits at a decent price, and some of their standard practices are putting the mainstream manufacturers to shame. Their boxes, for instance, are the best anywhere. Their instructions, which include canopy mask templates, are first class. Their plastic is a joy to work with, and their tooling is excellent. Honestly, I think if they continue this way, they're going to become one of the leading global producers of kits. If you've not tried one of their recent kits, do give them a go. I'm pretty confident you won't be disappointed. Now, it was high time I gave everyone an update at the shop status at this point too, which seems to have been well received. I'm continuously trying to improve what I do at the shop, particularly with the website, which you will notice if you visit has changed considerably even from that update. I'm constantly adding more stock and layout formats, enabling you to browse by scale, by period, by product type, manufacturer, and so on. If you've any suggestions here, I'm more than happy to receive them. For me, the purpose of a web store in the end is to provide you all with what you want after all. Now, the patiently awaited Gannet was the last Airfix kit to receive my unboxing review for 2023, and for me, this is the best kit Airfix have made to date. The Sea King is very close behind, and it has a more personal connection for me because of the release day and the infectious enthusiasm that Airfix instilled with it, but the Gannet just pips it a little bit as a kit, I feel. There are some worrying indications that I noticed in that though, but these are covered in the video and not a detractor from the kit itself. I did a live stream Q&A to round out my formal activities for the year, which I thought might last 30 minutes, but ended up lasting 2 hours, so I was really pleased with how that went, and a big thank you to everyone who joined that and engaged in asking questions. I hope it gave you some insights, and if you'd like that to be a regular feature on the channel, maybe once a quarter or so, again, please let me know in the comments. So that was it from 2023 from me. A year of huge changes for me both on and off the channel, with the realisation of a long-time dream of mine becoming a reality in a manner I didn't quite anticipate, and the channel growing more than I could have hoped for. Overall, I managed to average just over one video and one live stream each week of the year, but the streams only started from March and half of them were mine and half were me on other streams. So I'd like to increase that to a regular live stream from myself every week, probably on a Wednesday, plus my regular attendance on Airfix Chill on a Monday. As for videos, let me know what you guys would like to see more of. I'd like to get more unboxing videos out, so I'm hoping to do at least one per week for 2024, plus another video, either build, tips and tricks, roundup, challenge, etc. keep things fresh. I don't want to be just doing review videos, as I think that would become stale and bland. It's not why I started the channel. I'm also going to be changing the way I support those who support me. Now, time constraints have prevented me from dedicating time to unique videos. Patreon and YouTube both have big limitations in how to reward you guys, so I'm probably going to look at more substantial rewards to member levels, but based on longer term support. So for example, an annual reward pack or something like that, with a recorded weekly video chat kind of update, something that is just very casual and informal. That kind of should solve the issue of trying to rush something out for people who support me, not producing quality, time zone differences, the horror of international shipping, and all that stuff. So look out for that in the new year too. Lastly, I'd like to thank each and every one of you who watches my videos, especially those who subscribe. I know most people don't subscribe, but it is free, and I really hope that I've earned you clicking on that little button, hitting that little notifications bell, setting it to all, because more than anything else, that tells me that what I'm doing is the right thing for you, and it's a huge encouragement to keep at it, even when it becomes a bit of a slog. So all that remains for me is to wish you the very best in your celebrations during your holidays with those that you care about around you. Be kind to people, even on the internet, and I'll see you very soon. Happy New Year.
That's all for this instalment of Mann's Model Moments. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button, subscribe to the channel for more like it, and share this video with others you think would also enjoy it. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook, and if you're feeling generous then I also have a Patreon, which is absolutely the best way of helping me to grow the channel and produce more content like this. With that, I hope you have plenty of modelling moments of your own, and I look forward to welcoming you on the next video.